Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Water is the New Gold briefing. And I'm so happy to have you guys on board. We're going to go ahead and start very quickly while people join us. I'm going to let you know that today is, of course, the 83rd briefing in the weekly series, which started a couple of years ago. And we are helping you thrive in the world's only vital, scarce, and recession-proof market. Let's talk about quickly the fact that we are not gods, although we try. What I'm saying is that when I say something might happen, we certainly intend them to do, and we are trying our best. You know, they could differ, but I believe in the end we make it all happen. Okay, some cool news. We have New York Weekly published an article, and so I'm going to quickly show you this cool article. OriginClear recruits investors and entrepreneurs to help transform the water industry. And this is a cool story that talks about how we changed the company because of COVID, really. It's a super exciting story, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's a story of how water's a career, how we work on financing, the Ponster that's coming up, my vast experience, that's because I'm old, and basically where we're going with the future of the Airbnb style marketplace, and so forth. So this is super cool. With that said, I'm now going to play that short video, and then we're going to do something else that's fun. Here is back. This is the clip that we played back in August, and I wanted to replay it for you. This is a little silent animation that shows how this company, Equity and Help, made it for the second year in a row to the Inc. 500, and we're going to explain to you why that's relevant to tonight's briefing. These guys with 4,000% growth in 2 years. Pretty shocking. And what's amazing is that even though the world has fallen apart, they continue to do amazing numbers with their real estate. So, my hat's off to them like that. And now I'm going to introduce Mr. Arte Maren, who is going to join us. And he is the amazing chairman and CEO of Philanthroinvestors. Welcome aboard, sir.
Good. Thank you very much, Riggs.
So what is the relevance of this Inc. 500, Equity and Help? What happened that it became an Inc. 500 company?
Well, the growth of the company and the help word are very connected. They're really inseparable. It wasn't all that way. We were a normal, somewhat plodding along, but doing okay, real estate company. And Ivan's background has always been one of help and so on. And one day, and actually it's a whole other story, but in a shower, he had a realization that we had to marry up. He wanted to make a marriage of investing and philanthropy. And rather than try and fit these kind of square things in one box, He said, Philanthroinvesting. That's it. He went back to his company and he said, Philanthroinvesting. And after they tried to pronounce it for about a half an hour, finally they got it. And at that moment, Riggs, at that moment is when the company took off. You know, it just rang a bell with people out there who were doing investing. And if you look at it, and we have looked at it a lot, it provides so many things. It's an identity. I'm not an investor. I'm a philanthroinvestor. And that is also stature and identity. And so it worked on a great level in terms of the acceptance. But more importantly, it also put a tremendous spotlight on our structure and how we ran the company. And it posed an interesting question, which I put out to everyone watching right now. How good a management must you have in a company? How good a manager do you have to be? And you know, the answer to that is not, well, enough to make $1 billion. What we concluded and what we saw was that you had to manage and you had to have a structure that was efficient to the degree that you could do good.
Mm-hmm.
And the doing good became the rally cry for everybody in the company. They knew now that they were doing good. And Philanthroinvestors would come in and certainly make their investment and so on. So the company started growing and it kept growing. And to this point being a serial Inc. 500 company. But that wasn't enough for Mr. Ans, which you'll hear about in a minute. No, we had to now expand it. We can do it in real estate. That's good. And we're definitely providing homes for people and so on and putting them in there. But what about the rest of Earth? Are we just a real estate company? And that's where Philanthroinvestors came in terms of a much broader sense, in the sense of what are we doing about the water problems we have in this world? Energy, air. What if we could apply the same principles to what we were doing to companies that were doing good, right? And we looked until we found Origin Clear. And Origin Clear was innovative, which was one of our signals, that the company had to have a product and it had to be innovative. And I remember when we first came across it and came across the financial structure you had, Riggs,
Mm-hmm.
I said to Ivan, you know, I love what Riggs is doing and I love the way he thinks. I sure hope they have a product. You know, I was always already in love with the company, but, you know, and then we found out that not only did you have products, but they were innovative. And the idea of water as a market, that, you know, that was it. So we kind of took it from there. And we started learning over the years, really what it's about is that earnings are very valuable. They come from the head. It's kind of a thinking process of
Mm-hmm.
analyzing and so on. Philanthroinvesting comes from the heart. It's an intangible, right? And therefore invaluable. The feeling of making money, which Ivan experienced quite a bit, not to mention the feeling of losing money, when you're speculating.
As we've all done.
Yeah, and speculating, you have your ups and downs, but even when you're winning, after a while, hey, you know what? You just made another 10,000 today. Oh, good. And by the way, can I have a muffin with that? You know, it's
Yeah, right.
But when you start hearing the effect you've made in the handling of the water problems on Earth, that's a whole different thing.
Wow. Well, that's a beautiful and eloquent thing. And in fact, I wanted to show everyone what this means in terms of the website where we appear with Water Philanthroinvesting. And here is that website. We have the Philanthroinvestors website, which is right here, Awaken Your Philanthroinvestor Within. And then we have the water section, which is the hard reality. As we know, we've said this many times, more people die from unsafe water than war, et cetera, et cetera. And ta-da, there's some products. There's this book that's in progress. There's a game even. And now we are the first company to be working on this. And there's a nice little video that you've seen before. So that's where we are. And that is what I love is that we're now essentially doing what Equity and Help did, which was it got this overlay of Philanthroinvesting to what it was already doing well. So the core activity was good, but then it added this element of philanthropic investment, right? So that's super exciting. And in fact, I wanted to bring in the founder, the visionary Ivan. Da-da-da-da, Ivan comes on. I love your shirt, babe. I love your shirt.
Thank you, Rick.
So, and thank you, Artie, for walking us through this. Now, I teased everyone with something that you did with a survey that you took, which was you introduced us to a prominent hotelier, in fact, who went ahead and invested in Origin Clear, and we thank you for the referral. And then you did a survey. Why don't you tell me what this survey means?
So basically, Rick, the main point on philanthropy investing that I actually discovered was that money for money is not happiness. And what I actually was researching more and more is that when you actually put money and then you actually just get money back, you don't have that fulfilling. And the high net worth individuals in the world are feeling that way. So I realized, I say, you know what, this is a very high net worth individual. I will see what he thinks about the reason why he looked at Origin Clear as a water philanthropy investing concept and why he actually invests. So I asked him, I wanted to realize if I was right in the idea that these people will put in the last priority the money. And so I sent this survey, and the survey was basically asking to give me the three top reasons on why he actually became a water philanthropy investor as soon as he learned about the company. And I asked him to prioritize the level of importance. And then he says here, A, clean water is the most fundamental element needed for human survival. And B, I like to invest in philanthropic programs where people benefit. And C, good return for the investor with the option to convert to stock. So that was the last point. And he says, those are the same things I will tell the perspective to other people.
Amazing. So we have a person who's obviously going to be viral for us. And when we finally are able to talk about him, he's going to, I think, help us perhaps spread the word about our hotel water purification product, which is, you know, in the age of COVID, travelers are going to want to know that they can have clean, you know, ultra clean water. And so, you know, the ultra clean water is a key part of what these hotels need. So thank you for that. It's exciting. And then there were a couple other cool concepts that you were working on this week. Let's take a look at the first one. This is for the higher net worth investor. And we calculated together that if you support one waterpreneur with, these are numbers relating to the current pool preserver product, but there are other products we sell, but we just focused on this one. 1 million liters, 250,000 gallons of water per month. Whoa, that is amazing.
Yes, sir. And this all falls behind the concept of discovering true financial freedom. Because you can get financial freedom, you can make more money of what you actually spend, and you will be, you know, if you're having income that is above what the money that you spend, that income is coming from investment, you will kind of have that financial freedom. But the word freedom does not relate only to that. The word freedom relates to engagement, to knowledge, to impact, to really enhancement and fulfilling. So the ads that I designed that you can put up in the screen, not me, but Philanthroinvestors marketing team, what they did there is communicating exactly to the high net worth individual that they can actually not only say 1 million liters of water per month, but they are creating a career for one more waterpreneur that is making 6 figures a year to actually, at the same time, that is also saving 1 million liters per month. So the water philanthropy investor now is supporting a family that maybe he didn't have a job and he was not making good and in financially. So now he's a waterpreneur. He's making water as a career. And at the same time, he's saving 1 million liters of water per month.
Wow.
You see?
That is super cool. And the reason why I stopped the share is I'm actually going to show very shortly on the share. I'm actually going to show everyone where this website is going. But let's continue for a little bit longer with the slideshow, because you also came up with the idea of what a small investor would be able to do.
Yes, what I love about water philanthropy investing, and I am also planning to in the future open the same opportunity for real estate philanthropy investors with equity and health. But for now is become a water philanthropy investor with just $1,000 and save 10,000 liters of water per month. How cool is that? You come, you have your spare money there, it's sitting in the bank account, it's in your savings account, it's actually making nothing. But here, you just connect $1,000 only one time, not per month. If you do it every month, you're adding, in the next month, you're saving 20,000 liters. In the third month, you see, and that's what I call the philanthropy investing legacy. If you are an accredited investor, and you don't have the 100,000, 200,000 to actually invest in the Regulation D, you can literally start setting aside $1,000 a month, and then you are creating a philanthropy investing legacy plan for the next 60 months. And then in 60 months, you will have 60,000 invested, and you will be saving 600,000 liters per month from that point on.
That is crazy, ridiculous. Yeah,
yes.
and just to underline this point, I've decided to kind of share something that's internal, but we're redoing our website and not all of this is fitting. I can see here that I need to fix the font, but now we're going to have these top level: what is a career, products, companies, technology, news, learn, and about us. And then the top level here is Waterpreneur University, the equipment financing, and Water Philanthroinvestors. Even though it looks like it's at the bottom, but it's really at the top level with with Waterpreneurs University and equipment financing. And then we have all the cool products like Pool Preserver, Pondster, Progressive Water, which has these wonderful products they're building like Bronc Boost, and then modular water systems. Moving on to the companies, the technology, the lab, the cool lab stuff that we're working on, and of course, learning from the briefings and so forth. So we're basically, what I'm trying to say is we are integrating water philanthropy investing in our website as I speak. So that is super exciting. We have, I think, a video.
I am Eric Keller, a CPA, and I'm a water philanthro investor.
I'm Keith Rutan. I'm a water philanthro investor.
Hi, I'm Bob Roos, and I'm a water philanthro investor.
So that is super cool. It was nice to just sort of get these some of our best investors and how they feel about it. So they are definitely on board with this, and I'm not going to repeat it. But what I wanted to also do was give a quick tour of this unaccredited investing offering, because we haven't covered it in recent weeks, but it's starting to get a lot of investors coming in. And so how do you experience it, and what's the process and what's involved? Well, let's take a look. We're now going to come to, if I click on Invest Now, either the big button here or this one here, it takes me to a description of what we're doing these days, the Ryan Kustra story, the whole decentralization trend, decaying infrastructure, the stuff that I've been talking about for a long, long time is now becoming a reality and is being enabled by these modular systems. Then Water's a Career, that's about, there's good old Dwight Barber, and the video that we did of him got to 1 million views, so cool. Moving on down to what we're working with on the Pondster and so forth, Stinky Brown Ponds, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a cool little summary of what we're working on, and I invite you to do this. When you click on learn more, you're going to get a question. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 4 are for basically people who are accredited. Either they're accredited or they're from the outside the US. But if you're none of the above, then it takes you to a page where you're going to be able to invest. When you do that, there's all kinds of details, but very simply, you go in, and when I go in, there we go. This is our interface for investing. And so basically what you're doing is you're earning 10% from your investment. Minimum investment is $500. And we, basic information about you. We have to give this information for what's called anti-money laundering. In other words, know that you're for real. Financial qualification is important because you can only invest up to 10% of your annual income or net worth. So if you're making $100,000, you can put in $10,000. Or if your net worth is $50,000 and you make less than $50,000 a year, then you're going to put in $5,000. You can use your credit card or put it on your bank account, et cetera. And then you're basically done. It's a super, super simple process. That I wanted to show you guys what that's about. And of course, along with that goes the disclosure. This is called the offering circular. And you can see it by simply going to, I'll show you the link in a bit, but basically what it shows you is what the terms are. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and show you what's going on with that. Here we go. So you're going to be able to have dividends, 10% dividends, and then we may, at our discretion, redeem for 150%. So the basic deal is you make 10% per year, paid monthly. I invested $1,000 and I get $8.33 a month electronically. And then when the company redeems my shares, they have to pay me $1,500. Now, that's nice, but of course, what if you want to sell it? Well, right here, we will seek to have a market maker file an application, and we intend to quote this stock on the OTC, the over-the-counter market. And so that's the basics of it is, the 10% dividend and the 150% repayment at our discretion, or you can sell through this Series M. You can also sell privately. So that's a quick look at what this is about. And so without further ado, I'm going to move on to, we took a look, and so that's the basic look at this. And I invite you to just simply go to originclear.com, click on the button in the red thing at the top, and we're off and running. All right. Well, this has been short and sweet. I want to thank Ivan and Artie for having come on. And just to let you know, what does this mean? Right now, Origin Clear has this where, as Ken Berenger calls it, we're launching a series of micro utilities. Utilities are water companies, right? And so these mini water companies, which are entrepreneurs, we're launching them into society. And so what we're doing here is doing it in the US. Water Philanthroinvesting and the whole Philanthroinvestor network, I think it's in 26 countries, extends our reach tremendously. But in addition, they're bringing to us all these best practices that allowed them to get on the Inc. 500. So it's a wonderful combination. Yes, they're being given sweat equity, but they have to sweat with us. They have to meet the same performance requirements as the rest of us, so they don't get really much of a free ride. But it's that's the story. So we are completely highly integrated. Both they're going to extend our network and extend this idea of waterpreneurs, and also they're going to help us with bringing in those best practices that they used. All right. So Daryl, can we do the Regulation A via our IRA? And the answer is yes, you absolutely can. When you go to the link, you'll simply say, I want to use a trust or whatever. And there's a way to do it, which if you want more details, just email invest@originclear.com. And Devin will be happy to help you with that. Lisa, I don't see what you actually do. How you clean water and where? Well, that's because today we omitted the very important slides about the capability stack that this company has built over the years. The basic one, which is our filterless technology, and then moving on up there into the company we bought, Progressive Water, near Dallas, Texas, which can build anything. And then building on top of that is our modular water systems, which are these drop-in-place water equipment. And finally, the last thing, which is Water as a Career, where you deploy these amazing equipment via entrepreneurs who are looking for work after COVID. Oh my gosh. And so Lisa is a real estate Philanthroinvestor for many years. Well, that's wonderful to hear. And Danny, I came for the equipment. Well, excellent. So if you're interested in coming for the equipment, go to poolpreserver.com and you'll get a chance to fill out a form and you'll be able to hear more about that. Now, maybe you don't want to have a pool preserver. We have many other products. Okay, Rick Garcia, very good question. Thank you for this. Riggs, if you pay your investment using a credit card, does it show as a purchase or cash withdrawal? It is a purchase. So you don't get penalized for the cash withdrawal. Really good question. Okay, so without further ado, I would actually like to play, since Lisa and others may be interested in, well, what the heck is this technology? I have this cool video that I like to play because it shows off my Spanish. And so, you know, I'm gonna martyrize with you guys with it, but it's actually a pretty cool video. So it's short, but I think you'll enjoy it. So here it is. And in fact, it's right here at the site for the offering. Let's take a look here.
Estimados amigos y colegas, es un gran honor para mí hablar con ustedes en este día tan memorable. Hace 3 años ustedes nos hicieron una promesa que integrarían nuestra tecnología en su sistema completo para el tratamiento del estiércol. About 3 years ago, Deputy Pork went to research the treatment of hog manure. And they came upon our technology, reached out, and we negotiated with them a license. Now, 3 years later, they've built a working commercial system. It's proven and it's working amazingly well.
Origin Clear Technologies, ese apoyo que nosotros hemos necesitado al final de nuestro largo trabajo de 20 años, la participación de Origin Clear. Muy importante para el éxito que estamos teniendo con la puesta en marcha de nuestra planta piloto. La tecnología Origin Clear, que ha simplificado, dentro de que es una parte compleja del ecosistema, nuestra reacción ha sido wow, esto es increíble. El estiércol consigamos separarlo en una fase sólida que podemos llevar a compostaje y consigamos agua clara para poder regar la asociación con Origin Clear ha sido como marcar el último gol en un partido de fútbol.
Yo creo que juntos realizaremos cambios significantes en la industria de la cría de ganado. Podemos cambiar un problema real a una solución que elimina el desperdicio y también la contaminación de las lagunas de estiércol de larga duración. Muchísimas gracias otra vez a ustedes y que tengamos mucho éxito juntos en el futuro.
So that was just a little bit of eye candy, and I really want to thank everyone for having come on board. Ole! Gracias, Rick. Gracias, Ricardo. Mr. Mark, and the opportunities in California. Yes, very definitely. The Waterpreneur program is not a franchise program. It's called a business opportunity, meaning that you get your equipment, you get your training, and we show you how to do it. We're not going to overload a particular area with entrepreneurs, but you can go anywhere you want. And yes, there are very definitely opportunities in California. We don't have anyone yet there on the ground, so let's make it happen for sure. Well, everyone, again, it's been wonderful. I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you to Arte Maren, who is the amazing boss, and Ivan, the amazing founder for Philanthroinvestors. Thank you both. I appreciate it. We'll see you again next week. I do have to quickly show you a disclaimer page before I close, or else some horrible stuff will happen to me. Be sure to join us next week. And an offering statement has been filed with the SEC. To see the offering circular, go to oc.gold/offering. 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 Thank you very much again. And everyone have a great weekend. And I'll see you next week.